But I work in film production. I've also been an actor. And back in New York, a few years ago, rainy night, much like the one today, I was working on a show called The Black Donnellys. I don't know if anyone has heard of this show. It was about Irish Americans in New York, and well, they're not that great of people. They're a little criminal-like in nature. But so I was working on this nice long night, very long night. Lots of money from it. It was good stuff. But afterwards, I ended up having to go catch a subway, get back home. It's probably about 3:30 in the morning. Get on the J train, the lovely J train, which most New Yorkers don't like to be on past a certain point in the night. And of course, I go for a nice subway car that's filled with people. I, of course, know I don't want to be singled out in a small car, middle of the night, New York, not the greatest areas that the J train goes through. So as I'm going stop by stop by stop, all of a sudden, it starts emptying out. And within 3 more stops, I am the only person in this car. So of course, bad stuff has to happen. It just has to happen. And a man and 2 friends walk in through the door from the car behind me. And I said, watch, I'm gonna get mugged. I just knew it. Knew I was gonna get mugged. And sure enough, as things happen, one of the men, the ringleader, is actually the shortest of the 2 men. There's 2 big guys and one this height. Sits right next to me. And of course, this is a fully open car. Fully open. And he comes and just, actually, 4 of us. And just imagine no one else is here. New York is a friendly place. It is a friendly place. Most of the time, it is a friendly place, except for around 3:30, 4:30 in the morning on the J train going through, you know, some bad neighborhoods. But, do you want something, Sean? Raise it a little bit. I'm not talking loud. I'm for a New Yorker. That's bad. Tiny bit. All right, sounds good. So he sits down and starts making pleasantries with me, which I find very funny because you have these 2 hunking behemoths in front of me, just having their hands kind of above, you know, the little rails. And I noticed that one has a nice big old knife over here. Just, you know, you had to make it known. You know, somebody can physically harm me without their bare hands. Ooh, I hear myself a lot better. Hey. So he starts making pleasantries. I have my book bag, my rucksack, next to me, which has all my clothes that I needed for the day, and he basically at the end says, "So, yeah, you got any money?" And I said, "You know, I'm a college student at this point," which was slight bullshit. That was definitely bullshit part of the story. I graduated by that time from undergrad. I was just making some money. So I said, "I'm, you know, unemployed, college student, I have nothing." And I go into my pockets, so I'm like, yeah, hold on. And the guy says, "I know you got a back pocket." So, okay, yes, I had some money in my back pocket. I had a tenner on me, 10 US, of course. I didn't have euros at that point, at all. So, yeah, so I pulled it out. I'm like, this is all I got. And he takes it from me with these 2 big guys. Didn't say a word the whole time. I thought it was very weird. They were just like little gargoyles of fear. So he takes this, and luckily I'm thinking, shit, I have my actual wallet in my backpack, which is right next to me, which must have at least $150 in it. And of course, subway card, my Long Island Railroad ticket to get back home, and if that was taken, I would have been screwed. So he doesn't check that, doesn't take my bag. But the funny thing is, he actually validates why he needs the money, which I've never experienced. It turned into a very surrealistic moment. He basically says that, you know, his baby mama, breathing down his neck, got this, you know, crying kid somewhere in Brooklyn or Queens or the Bronx, who the hell. But just has to keep going. And finally he gets on, my baby, man, milk and diapers. The kid needs milk and diapers. And he kept saying this, and it was just the weirdest thing. I'm just sitting there scratching my head like, you got my fucking money. Come on. You know, I figured this $10 bill can at least buy me some silence for the rest of the journey. You know, I'm already, you know, a little bit short on cash, you know, but it keeps going. So I still have several stops to Jamaica Station, which if anyone has been to Long Island, New York, knows that Jamaica is a big hub. I need to get there to my train. Finally, we pull up to another station a few stops prior, and I'm just like, okay, man, you know, sorry about your plight, you know, really sucks, milk and diapers. So I get up. These two guys still don't do a damn thing. They're just standing there, just kind of looking at me. And this guy's just, you know, he's looking at me like we made this connection. And I'm just still like, what the fuck is happening? Well, so I get up, I move, I'm like, this is my stop, buddy. And of course, it's probably even a worse neighborhood than the stop that he got off on. And we're on an elevated subway line at this point. So I get out, and he's looking at me, saying milk and diapers probably somewhere in his head. And I get up, and he like gives like a subtle wave and a nod to me. And I get out of the train, and I just say, Jesus Christ. And of course, you know, at this point of the night, I'm very glad that I had money. I'm very glad that I could still get home whenever I do get to Jamaica Station. But again, another train didn't come for about 20 minutes, and of course, I'm like, the one time in New York where a train doesn't come, I'm going to be stuck in this godforsaken neighborhood. But finally one comes, I get to Jamaica Station, wait an hour for my Long Island Railroad train, get back just as my father is getting to the Long Island Railroad station to go back to his place of employment. Ironically, he works for the track department. So thanks, Dad, for making it so safe. And so I tell him what happens before he has to run to the train. And the only thing he says, the words of wisdom from a benevolent man, a lovely father, he's been around all the time, helped me out with so many things, looks me dead in the eye and said, yeah, son, Rich, you look like an easy mark. At that point, I probably said, fuck you, Dad. We have a very open relationship, so. But yeah, so I went home, I got some sleep, took out my wallet, put it next to my bed. And to this day, no matter where I'm going, I make sure it's held close to my heart, more so than anything else, just so I have a nice Long Island Railroad ticket to get back home. Wow. And that's it. Okay, so now, to get ready for the rest of the night, you get to raise your hand and vote whether that was fact or bullshit, truth or fiction. Anybody? Truth. Okay, bullshit. All right, well, that was truth. It happened to me about 3.5 years ago.